Right on, brother. Good to see you, man. I was just jumping on the YouTube page to see when the last time we jumped on a video together, and it's been about a year and a half.
Yeah, that
Time
makes
flies,
sense.
man. Time flies, dude. It's crazy, right?
Totally.
So what's going on in your world? You've got the new Art of Dying album is being released.
Yeah, Let's Go comes out any day now, and we're pretty stoked about it. It's good. Um, it's a good little number.
How much of that how much of that did you have ready to go in studio? How much was conceived like because of COVID and all that?
So, we've been on this release. We kind of decided during the pandemic, like, let's release a song every 8 to 12 weeks
Hmm.
because we got bored and we were like, let's just how do we do this?
Well, if
You
you got
know,
the music, why wouldn't you want to do that?
exactly. So we started going through the back catalog and going through the B sides that never got released, and like, oh shit, this song's pretty cool. Why didn't we release that again?
I know, and like it's all stuff that, of course, your core fans are going to be like, yes,
Totally.
yeah,
So we mainly Tavis and I have kind of been spearheading the new kind of releases just because he's become really great producer in the last 5 years, 10 years. Um, and with technology catching up along the way, we're just able to hammer stuff out remotely. He's in Vegas, I'm in Vancouver. So we just bounce ideas back and forth. And next thing you know, there's a song coming together. Although this one, Let's Go, actually, I was in Vegas for a food show with our sauce company. And of course, Tavis and I connected while I was there. And I basically told him, yeah, man, on my way here, I was writing notes about what we should work on next. And we should really write a song called Let's Go. Because I've been, truth be told, it's really a song about what was inspired by Connor McDavid of the Edmonton Oilers.
really,
So I've always been an Oilers fan, right? I grew up just outside of Edmonton. Always loved the Oilers. I had so many treats in that building in Edmonton. And then when I moved out to Vancouver, I became a Canucks fan, and then slowly worked my way back to Edmonton over the last decade. And then the pandemic, I think we were all grasping for like shit that could ground us, and like get us back to something subnormal.
yeah.
And hockey became a thing for me during the pandemic. I was like listening to hockey pods and just like diving into, even though it was, the pandemic season in hockey or seasons.
Yeah, it's probably weird for them to play with no fans in the stands, right? Like, how weird.
Totally weird, right?
Yeah, it's like you doing a show with like nobody in the audience. Like,
Hello, and that's happened. Believe me.
hey,
I remember one really cold night in oh shit, what was that city? It was bad. There was a really rough show. It's one of my least favorite. Oh, I can't remember the city's name right now, but when it comes to me later, I'll
yeah,
mention it.
yeah, yeah. Well, you have those shows though. Everybody has those shows. Like that's something I think sometimes people forget is like bands like Zeppelin had like, nobody coming to their shows. The Beatles had 15 people at shows. Like, everybody has those shows.
And you know what? It's special as they become special because you remember them forever.
Sure.
And there's 12 people there, and you're like, wow, I'm going to remember you 12 people for the rest of my life. Like, you're amazing.
People, including the bar staff, the wait staff. So that's cool. So hockey plays a big part in your life still present day though, right?
Yeah. So like the pandemic got me super back into it. Like I became a super fan again, and I was following the Oilers real closely,
Yeah.
and they're really good right now. So it's fun to watch.
Imagine if they actually had some real good tending.
Oof.
Dude, they'd
It's
be
coming.
unstoppable, man.
It's coming. Skinner's tight, and Campbell, he's not showing his best. He's showing his worst. So I think he's think he's going to come around, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But what I noticed, honestly, is in Connor McDavid, the transition the last couple of years from young guy to maybe disappointed that they're not getting further to now driven. Like he is so next level driven, and when he scores now, he's not like, yeah, it was me, I did it. He's like, fuck that. He's like, let's go. Let's go now. And you can, if you YouTube Connor McDavid scoring or Sellies or something, you'll just see him going, looking at his bench going, let's go. And I'm like, and lots of, that's common in sports, I think now is it's a phrase that's coming around, but he inspired me to be like, oh yeah, like look at your own life. It's not about celebrating I did that today as much as it is I did that today because I'm going there and that's where I really want to be. Let's go. And it really just fired me up. And that's kind of where the title came from. And then I just thought, why stray from the title in the lyrics? So I'm sitting in Vegas in a motel, hotel, whatever, on the strip, and Tavis is coming down later, and I just thought, I'm just gonna write this thing, man. And I just, hacked into it, wrote the words, and then him and I came up with a riff, and next thing you know, this was like 5 weeks ago. So we're turning it around so fast, which is so exciting and so different than, like in, let's say, a case study of a song like Get Through This, where, I wrote it in a futon store in Vancouver in 2005, and then, put it out on our indie record in 2007, and then put it out on our Warner Brothers record in 2012, and then toured the shit out of it for 6 years. And so people are hearing that on stage in 20 whatever, they're hearing like a 15-year-old song,
right.
Which is interesting because it's still impactful. It still has the meaning. But when you hear Let's Go, you're hearing exactly what Tavis and I were thinking 5 weeks ago, which is a pretty cool thing to have happen now, and you think about that with every record that you idolize. And like, I think about Pearl Jam 10, one of my favorite records of all time. I'm thinking, what these guys fucking thinking during that time? Like, was Eddie in California and just come up with these ideas on his way up to Seattle, or were they all in a room? And was Chris Cornell hanging out and they're just going, yeah, I'm still alive, I'm still alive. Like, was that Eddie just by himself that he wrote about something personal 10 years before that? Or was it in the moment? It happened that night on the phone, and then
last week or something. Like, it's cool to get those backstories, right?
And as the general public, when we hear that song for the first time, is this like an olden days story from one of the band, their trek in life, or is this, did this just happen? Is this fresh? So it's pretty interesting to think about songs right now, at least in our world, Art of Dying's world. We can be inspired, write it, record it, produce it, mix it, master it, put it online, and you get to hear exactly what we're thinking 5 weeks ago, which is pretty fresh. Pretty cool.
Now, does it have the legs that Get Through This does? You know what I mean? Like, are you going to be playing this in 2040?
Right.
Right? Like, well, that's trippy to think, because you'll still be doing this in 15 years. Like, no way you're not going to be doing this.
Yeah, there's no way, there's no reason to ever stop, I think.
Why would you?
Yeah. You look at
this point, why would you? Like, I feel the same way for what I'm doing. Like, why would I ever stop the podcast? Like, unless I don't know, I just want to retire, I guess. But like, ultimately, why wouldn't I?
You'd have to be sick or bored or tired or
something would have to happen in my life.
I hope you're not getting any of those things, and I hope I'm not either. We'll just keep plugging it.
Just keep cruising along. Yeah, man. So, and of course, right now, Tavis is out on the road with the boys in Saint Asonia.
Oh,
which is
my whole
awesome.
band, my whole band is on the road with Adam
The whole
Gontier,
band, yeah, true enough. Yeah, true enough. That's crazy, right?
which is it's great. I mean, I'm celebrating for them from
Yeah,
afar, and it's interesting to see the guys. I'm like, hey, any pictures that Adam aren't in, you just save those for our files, right? Just make sure
right.
that Saint Sonia banner's not in the background.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But,
But it's great.
but no,
It's great because Adam is he's such a great guy too, right? And to have him kind of in your corner must be pretty awesome to have like that sort of think tank at your
oh,
disposal too, right?
he's the best. I mean, Kale and I are like brothers, and Adam and Kale are
Yeah,
basically
yeah,
brothers.
yeah.
And Adam's helped us on so many occasions. Just we've written together on porches in Ontario. We've had
Well,
him guest sing
he
on
was
a bunch of songs.
guesting on Inside It's Raining, and yeah.
He guested on Raining. He guested on another song that we wrote with him, and then we ended up not using that. But he was just he was really benevolent with his voice. He was sick in Vancouver on tour with 3 Days Grace, and I said, "Hey, do you still want to sing on Raining?" And he's like,
Mm.
"I'm sick, but sure, I'll do it." I'm like, "Fuck!" Like, I don't know many singers that would be ill
Totally.
and on tour and trying to save their voice that would rip into a studio for 8 hours and lay down
Yeah,
some vocals
like
for you.
yeah, like sorry, buddy, I gotta like sing tonight, and I gotta rest and drink some tea and not use my voice.
Exactly, which is reminds me of Uproar. We were on a big tour called Uproar, and I lost my voice for real for the first time in my life. And a doctor in LA said, "Don't speak for 48 hours." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm going to miss 3 shows. Great. That's awesome." And Adam stepped up and sang my set for me.
Dude, that's crazy. When was that?
So that would have been 2012, 2013. And it was awesome because the Sean from Seether came up and sang a song.
Mm.
Adam came up and sang a few. One of the guys from the opening bands came up and covered a few. Tavis just straight up covered a few, and we got through our set. And to be honest, we were being paid like I don't know $1,000 a show,
Mm.
and we couldn't afford to not do the shows. We're like, that's our gas money, man. Like if we
But
don't get,
and
if
those
we
are the
don't get,
shows that people remember too. Like,
it
not
was
that
great.
just an average, Art of Dying show is great, of course, that's what fans come to see, but like those are the shows where you're like, holy shit, I saw, Seether singer, and I saw Adam from 3 Days Grace jump up, and like those shows where you're like, man, I can't believe I was at that show.
Yeah. So I'm trying to remember the guy who sang. Is Brandon was his name?
Oh,
I
Breaking
forget the name
Benjamin?
of his, no, I forget the name of his band. He is in Atreyu,
Oh, okay.
but he's not a singer in Atreyu. I forget what he plays in that band, but he was the singer from. Oh, it was like Hell. Oh, Brandon. I apologize. Hell, Hell or High Water. Hell or High Water.
All right.
There it is.
I've never
Yeah,
heard
so
of them. Where are they from?
he stepped in, U.S. somewhere. Yeah, I don't really know the state, but
Toured with them and stuff, though, yeah.
yeah, that was so for me. I was probably tearing up side stage because I'm on voice rest, holding like a video camera, watching
Mm.
all these guys fill in for me, going, dudes, this is a special moment. Like I wish I was singing right now, but this is pretty special.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. Like some crazy memories for you over the years. Like, could you pick up just like, if I said pick 3 career highlights, you could do that. But could you pick it to one? I can't remember if I've asked you this before.
It's kind of like remembering your life through
Mm.
pictures. When you remember your childhood and you go, oh, remember that time I caught that big fish and I held it up with my dad and we took that picture? And then you have to ask yourself, am I just remembering the fucking picture? Or
Yeah,
am I
right.
remembering the moment? right? So now that a lot of our moments have been, you know, written in stone on YouTube or whatever. So there's this moment where we're playing at Rock on the Range in Ohio, and I remember so well that I'm like, we roll in at noon. I'm super hungover. All I need is a coffee, and I'm just like trying to find a coffee, but we're on in like 15 minutes, so I can't find a coffee. So David Draymond and Dan Donegan come over side stage, and they're like, "Don't fuck this up." Basically, right? David had this big chat with me about like X factors, man. Don't let the X factors get to you. Like all the side thing, and I'm like, "Fuck, dude, he's right." But in this moment, I need shit. There's a Jack Daniels. Whew, okay, let's hit the stage, right?
Liquid courage, let's go.
And we did it, and it was a great show. And you can look it up on YouTube. There was this moment where we sang "Best I Can," which was our ballad off that Warner Brothers record. Mm-hmm. And someone in the audience was not in the pit with us, but was up on the side of the stadium, and there's honed in on us, and then they zoomed out, and you look down, and there's like 15,000 people, and they all have their hands up to "Best I Can" at 12:30 p.m. on a Saturday in the sun, and everyone's probably had a shot of Jack too, and it's like, what a great moment. And nobody really knew who we were then. It was just like they were just in the moment with us, and that was really, really cool. Then there's the time we're standing backstage in Wisconsin, and the DJ from the local station there says, he's on the phone, he's like pacing around, he goes, "Yeah, maybe Art of Dying will do it." It's like 2 a.m, we're after the show, everyone's just partying, and he's like, "Hey, you guys want to sing the U.S. national anthem tomorrow at Chicago Speedway?"
What?
Like, okay. But you'd have to leave right now if you're going to get there. So we hop in whatever we're driving, I think it was an RV. We stay up all night learning the American national anthem because we didn't know it.
Sure.
How are we going to do it? Am I just going to sing it? Is it a whole band? Do we bring a guitar? Like, how are we going to do this? All right, what do we do good? We do good harmonies, right? So let's just do 3-part harmonies all night long in the RV on the way to Chicago Speedland. Or Chicago Speedway.
Yeah.
So we get there.
Holy man.
And shit gets real. Like all the TV cameras, the fucking NASCAR, everything's like, whoa, we're being walked to the track. And there's 40,000 people getting ready to watch Speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, here is recording artist Art of Dying going to sing the national anthem. And we busted it out 7 a.m, up all night trying to learn it. A bunch of Canadians singing the American national anthem at NASCAR. It was incredible, unforgettable, and also on YouTube. So go check it out. Shit like that, right?
Yeah. I mean, and that's cool because as much as it's the cool side to see as fans of your band, to see those shows where, again, with Seether singing and with Adam singing and stuff, it's cool to know that like there's moments like that for you guys too, right? Like there's certain moments in your career. Yeah, sure, it's cool to be in a band that tours and has albums and they do well and everything else, but like what's that next step for you guys? Because there's got to be something that's different than show to show, otherwise becomes a bit like Groundhog Day, does it not?
Yeah, and I mean that's touring in a nutshell, right? You kind of wake up and never know what city you're in, and you just want a coffee. Just like, give me a coffee.
Just
and
want to be normal, like I want to wake up and like have a shower, have a coffee, do my thing.
Exactly. So with the boys being on the road with Santa Sonia right now, I'm kind of like, I love it. I'm envying them, and I'm wishing them the best. At the same time, I'm doing a lot of shit with my food company right now, and
Mm,
I'm in that world. So kind of it's the best of both worlds right now, where they're on the road enjoying that and having a great time. Although I know how the grind is, it's a grind out there. They're probably like, you know, rolling into a gas station right now trying to put quarters into a shower machine or something stupid. It's like
yeah, yeah,
bus tours are great, right? Until you think about you're never in a hotel and you're like, wow, all right, I got to sleep in basically a coffin every night, and when am I going to shower again?
right. Yeah, if you're not in a hotel motel with showers and stuff, I'm sure it must be that's a different way of touring.
That was always a thing for us because we did it all, right? We went van trailer, RV, which we brought back in two pieces, and they basically put like I think we almost went to court on that RV. Anyway, it was not good. Then we went to the bandwagon, which is the best. It's the bus you can drive yourself.
Yeah,
So it's awesome, but you have to drive it yourself. So you're screwed once again
yeah,
because the headlining band doesn't care if they're driving 17 hours tonight because they're going to be sleeping in their bunk
right.
while their driver's driving them. And the guy in the bandwagon, it's like rock, paper, scissors to see who has to drive 17 hours and then play a show after you just played a show. So it's pretty hardcore, right?
That's great.
And then we went to the bus tour, and bus tour was great. Having a driver, there were so many great things about it. But yeah, you don't have a hotel room anymore. You don't have a shower, so you kind of got to figure that out. You're
Yeah.
still brushing your teeth on the side of the road from time to time. And I remember we pulled into David Draymond's place in Austin, Texas, and we're rolling up to his mansion in our bus. It's like, and he comes out and he's like, "So proud of you boys." He's just like, we're like, "Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it?" But yeah, and then we went all the way right back down. Right from that bus tour, went right back down to the bandwagon tour, right
Yeah.
back down to the van tour. And there's so many great things about each one of those. There's this irreplaceable, each
Sure.
one of them.
I'm sure none of them are bad. Ultimately, you want the comfort if you can get it, but like, to play music for people, like to
The
engage
RV
in
tour,
that way,
honestly,
like,
I think it might be my favorite because it's real like Lampoon's Vacation
yeah,
style. I've never played so much poker in my life, sitting at that table with the
yeah,
guys. And then, like you turn hard left and all the beer falls out of the fridge onto the floor and you're shotgunning all the ones that popped open. It's just like, it's a gong show. Pull into a gas station, meet a bunch of people, have like a spontaneous 4-hour party.
yeah. Nice. Like, why not?
Best. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about your essentials, your hot sauce. So yeah, you're like real in the thick of it at this point right now. Or you're is it a GoFundMe or what is it you're doing exactly?
So we're doing it's called a front funder, and it's a stage before going public on the stock market, basically.
Okay.
So it's kind of like investing in small businesses right before they could become big business. And it's not a GoFundMe in the sense of like, give us some money, we got a good idea. It's more like you can buy shares in the company because you think it's a good idea, and you can get out and maybe be up, or maybe you lose all your money if we go bankrupt. So it's kind of like
Sure.
one of those things. But yeah, we're in the thick of it. We just raised like 130K or something, and
Wow.
we're trying to raise 500,000. We basically, for those of you who don't know, my wife and I started a clean food company. So we make clean ketchups, clean barbecue sauce, no junk hot sauce. So it's just kind of like zero chemicals, zero crap, but all the flavors. So we've been doing that for 8 years. Like time flies. We've been doing
Now
that.
learn now. Hey, wow. I remember when you started it up like 8 years ago. Hey, wow. Good for
So
you.
we grew. Thanks. Yeah, we grew it as much as we could. Like we're in a couple hundred grocery stores in BC and Alberta.
Mhm.
It's people love it around here. It's a really successful product. So we brought on a partner last year who said, let's take this idea that you guys, grew and grow it in Ontario and Quebec, and let's grow it in the United States, and let's see if we can blow this up into, a company that does big numbers, but also gives people clean options around North America instead of just BC. So we kind of we were a little scared, to be honest. We were like, we gotta. That's kind of big for us. But he's a great dude and helped us. He brought a lot to the table that we don't have. Like I'm basically the chef in the company. I make the sauces taste good and do some of the marketing and sales. And Melissa makes it all look really good. She does all the photography and social media and the labels and designs everything. And then Mitchell, our new partner, brings so much business to the table and, raising money to do things bigger. Like we want to build our own facility eventually and start, actually producing the sauce ourselves in a factory in Vancouver so that our margins can be higher and things can, we can scale things up to service the rest of North America. But you need millions of dollars to do that kind of stuff, right? So we never really considered it until we worked on our business model with him and just said, look, this actually, if we do this, this, and this, I think we can do all that. And this can be a real profitable company. So
imagine if you could take everything the hard work you put in here, and like you said, the 200, like that's impressive, man. 200 in just BC and Alberta. Like imagine if you could do that like over in Ontario and then hit a few different places in the States and suddenly you have like 5 markets that you're getting like, holy shit, that's big numbers.
Ontario and Quebec are easily 10x BC. So,
wow.
we'd be 10x there. And then USA is 10x Canada. So our numbers would be quite different overnight. And a couple of our major competitors that we've kind of, tested ourselves against along the way, those guys have sold to big companies, like.
Right. Well, that's what they do. Big companies go, hey, what's going on over here? We'll give you this much. Go away.
Well, and sometimes they say,
or they'll continue to run the brand.
Much and business as usual, which is kind of one of our exit strategies. Is like, we want to run this for as long as we can and do it right. If somebody comes in and says, "Here's 140 million bucks, we think you're doing good stuff, and we want to be a part of it," which is basically what happened with the craft beer industry, right? Like all these beer lovers came out and said, we're going to make beer our own way. And then all the, the big breweries came around and bought them all up and said, yeah, it's definitely a real thing, craft beer. So let's just buy them up and let them do it. It's still called, it's still called mom and pop brewery.
Yep.
Yeah. So, it's exciting.
Yeah.
It's cool. So check it out. We just extended the campaign. So there's 90, I think we close it in May now. So there's 90 more days to get involved. And it sounds like crazy to invest in a company. Like we always, just send out a text. I even texted my mom, like, Mom, you want to invest in the company? She's like, oh, investment. That's crazy. What is that? Is that like thousands? It's like, no, it's like $250 minimum. It's you can invest $250 or $500, or if you are like really believe in clean food and want to be a part of it, you can invest $50,000 and
whatever you want, like 50 million. Like, if the right person, like if Elon Musk is listening, like, dude, 50 million, check it to my buddy Johnny. Come on, let's do it.
I'm pretty sure for that amount, he'd probably have to buy us out. But no, but we have perks along the way, and one of the perks is, Art of Dying will come play an acoustic show. I think that's the $50,000 one.
Oh, nice. Well, that's cool.
Which is cool, right? And there's Melissa and I will come to your place, cook you dinner, and then there's tons of we're doing aprons and cutting boards, and tons of sauce kits, and just cool shit, just fun perks.
What's the website? And I'll put the website in the YouTube post as well for people if they want to.
Yeah, it's Front Funder with no E. So just frontfunder.com / Jonny Hetherington Essentials. Okay. And it's cool. You might discover a lot of different companies that if you have like $2,000 that you're going to put into RSPs this year, you might want to put it there instead, because it's like, oh, I can support this little company that came up with a smart suitcase or something, and I think it might have some return on it next year. You can do that instead of RSPs.
Yeah, right. I mean, if you're looking for other ways to make money, there are other ways to make it, right? And supporting small business is never a bad thing.
Totally.
Yeah. Right on, dude. Where do you think Bedard's going to go? We'll go back to hockey real quick here. Where do you expect Bedard to land?
I don't know where the wheel's going to spin.
Imagine if he landed in Edmonton. Oh my God!
No, he can't, right?
But imagine.
No, he's going to go to like one of the bottom feeders, right? So he could wind up in Columbus, or he could wind up in Chicago, or maybe Montreal, Ottawa. Although Ottawa's tearing it up a bit since that trade with Chikrin. But no, Edmonton's going to win the Stanley Cup, dude. They're not going to have a pick next year at all. So it's going to be good. We got Ekholm now. That's real nice. Mm-hmm. I wish we had Demko. I know you're a Canucks fan. I wish we had Demko. I'm surprised. I'm not surprised Demko didn't get dealt, but I'm surprised how much Vancouver fell apart this year. That's for sure. Didn't see that coming.
I mean, the way that it went from Boudreau to Tocchet was just embarrassing. That's embarrassing, man. The way you treat your coach.
Yeah, not a good look. There's
not a good look. No, the Aquilinis took a huge hit because of that. Like, dude, their Twitter account was like cringy, man, for like weeks.
Not good.
Still is, kinda.
Yeah, and I mean, what they're doing with even JT Miller, like, I don't get it. I don't get how any of this really went down. But
it's like, how did they not sign the last remaining piece of like the Sedins and all that era? The captain of the team, you don't sign him, but you sign this other dude.
I guess they have a plan, but it's a weird plan. I don't get it.
If they had one, it backfired. Like, Miller's a great player, but he's not that the presence that you want like Horvat is and was. Yeah.
Well, I drive by the building all the time and then watching the banners come down, right? Because there's the Horvat banner and it's gone. Like, then there's just like the Besser banner. He didn't get dealt, did he?
He didn't. No. And that's a surprise because like he's not living up to, what is he making, $6 million a season or something? Like,
yeah, the Besser banner's staying. It can stay. So they're probably whoever changes the banner is probably happy about, like, whew.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, do I now? Now.
I'd like to film that, right? Like when a franchise player gets traded, you go down to the building just to film them taking down the banner, being like, shit. Yeah. That's like a $10,000 banner. What are they gonna do with that?
But what did they end up paying him? Horvat, 8 over 8?
8 over 8. Yeah, a little more, I think, actually.
A little bit more than that. I don't know that I would have wanted the Canucks to have signed him to that. That's too much, man.
Yeah, and I'm happy for him, man. Like, to get out to New York, I mean, it's kind of like where hockey players want to go. Look, Kane just went to the Rangers, and Horvat's in the Islanders. This is good, man. Like, you want to be out there. It's a great part of the world. Great city to be. Yeah. So, not that Vancouver's not. I mean, hockey players love to come here, too. Edmonton's had the problem of nobody wants to go there. It's like, shit, I'd love to play with the Oilers, but I don't want to live in Edmonton, unfortunately. Like, it's cold and,
it's pretty remote. And
yeah, but that's kind of changed a bit since we're going to win the Stanley Cup this year. So,
you know what? If the Canucks aren't going to, I would prefer Edmonton of any other Canadian team.
It's on. I'm calling it right now. Like, just come back to this episode in June. Be like, shit, Johnny called it on March, whatever it was.
Edmonton versus who's in the finals then?
Oh shit! It's
Boston.
I want to not say Boston. I want to not say Boston. It might be the Rangers, man. Blue on blue. It could be the Rangers. Devils look good. Carolina's strong.
Yeah,
So
they're
we'll
always
see.
fun.
That I don't know why that bores me though. I don't know why. Just like Carolina, Edmonton, although it'd be a good battle, but we'll see what happens.
Well,
Oilers win
McDavid,
the cup
McDavid's due, dude. He's due. I'm not saying that they're not going to win. So you know, I'm on your side, man, 100%. Like if it's not going to be the Canucks, make it the Oilers.
though. All I gotta say is let's go.
Love it. What are you reading lately, bud?
Oh,
Got any,
emails,
got any emails?
emails.
You
Texts.
got any recommendations for some rock autobiographies?
Oh no. Honestly, I haven't. I honestly have not had time to
Oh, really?
flip a page.
Huh?
Yeah. No, I've been. Oh, my daughter's keeping me real busy, Todd.
Oh, don't kids throw something into the mix, eh?
Yeah, she's a monster. She's a brilliant singer. We haven't really talked about this personally, but she just
Great.
finished a stint in the Vancouver Opera. So she was,
Wow.
yeah, she at age 3, she said, "I want to be an opera singer," and at age 7, she finished her first opera with the Vancouver Opera. So sky's the limit. Her voice is just
Incredible.
insane. Uh, Couple 4 octaves and just the control. We've got her with this really great teacher that mentor really that it just inspires her and
Mhm.
is teaching her the right way, and she's growing. She just finished her first. I'm just pop a moment here, but she just finished her first 4th level voice at Royal Conservatory. So she's at 7, right? So it's crazy.
Wow.
Uh,
Come on,
and
dude.
we pulled her out of school during the pandemic, and then never went back because she was a bit ahead. And now we just gave her this kind of gift of a couple of years of music. So she's studying piano, voice, ukulele, drums. Just picked up a violin, and she's doing a little dance and stuff on the side. So keeping some activity in it, but it's
Mm.
just, yeah, full on music crash course. And I don't know what we're getting into. It's crazy, but it's
Love
fun.
it.
And she's got the talent. So it's kind of great, but it's keeping us busy. And life's full. So I'm not reading at all.
Yeah, no, fair. Yeah, nurture those talents, man, for sure. And so, what's your guys' take on the way that you approach, screen time and all that? Like, what do you guys do for that?
Pretty much zero screen time. She gets like she has an iPad and she gets to do a lot of like Duolingo language stuff. So because she wants to be an opera singer, she's learning German and she's already fluent in French and English. So she's learning German and she's learning Spanish. So she's on there with Duolingo, great app, great site, whatever, to learn languages. And we just found out Duolingo has a math app too. So she's doing some like more academic school stuff on there too. So it's like she does some of that. She does her little getaway from everything is a show called The Octonauts. She loves The Octonauts.
Okay.
Like, yeah, so she's
Uh,
like,
I
can I
know.
watch Octonauts for half an hour, Dad? I'm like, yeah, all
Yeah.
right.
So
You've worked
there's
pretty
not.
busted your ass today. Okay.
Yeah, fair. That's fair, right? So there's not much binging in your house then. You guys don't rip through a whole bunch of different series, or
Well, we binged together. I'm just gonna.
Hmm.
I'm in her room right now, which is pretty funny, right?
Oh
So
yeah,
this is her room
oh yeah, nice.
in the kids' room. No, we binge watch stuff together. That's kind of our family thing. Is
Yeah, same.
we she's a little young for some of the stuff we get her into, but
Oh
she's
yeah,
been
dude.
watching
Like, oh my god.
Stranger Things.
Oh, did you watch that with her? Wow. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh
that's
yeah. Season 4, she got a
yeah,
little
yeah,
nightmarish,
yeah.
but yeah. I mean, we kind of treat her. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe it's right. I don't know. We treat her like a little adult a lot of the time,
Yeah,
and she
same.
kind of comes along for the ride. So we'll see where that goes.
Yep, that's the way we've been doing it too, dude. I mean, we probably introduced our kids into, the world of like, I don't know, Harry Potter and the Lord of the Rings and all of those. Probably way too early. Now looking back, 5, 6 years old, 7 years old or whatever, and like Lord of the Rings, man, there's some freaking epic fight scenes with like death everywhere and destruction and people getting maimed and all that. But we were like, well, it's fake. It's not real.
Exactly. If you understand that it's just all fantasy world, I think that's cool. And I mean, Dungeons and Dragons and fake, stuff. It as long as you get it. But I get to how some of that stuff can be a little nightmarish. Like you can get some.
Oh, for sure.
Vecna's a pretty bad dude.
Like I look back
and some of that stuff in Lord of the Rings, like the eye and
it's pretty crazy,
evil looking shit.
Yeah.
So I've graduated to the bathroom. I don't know if you can see here. Got my.
Where did you move to? Where are you?
No, I've graduated to the bathroom. I was in the kids'
room. Bathroom.
Now I'm in the shitter. It's good lighting in here.
That's good lighting, yeah. I wanted to ask you about something. Did I write something down on that? I think I did. Something specific I wanted to get out here tonight. Oh yes, I don't know if I've asked you this either. What is your first music memory?
Ooh.
I know it's like super hard to think of, like immediately think of it, but like just think of that. And like what was it, and like how old were you, and like because I can only remember stuff like maybe 5 years old, and before that, like I can't remember anything.
I remember diving into my dad's Kenny Rogers record collection with big cans.
Yeah.
So just strapping on these like big old cans, plug 1/8 into the record player.
Everyone
listen to Kenny Rogers records.
Howard of the county.
Oh yeah. With some of the stuff I've been doing on the Hetherington side of things, the country stuff, you can definitely hear that. Like that Kenny, like that stuff's so well written and so cool. But I'll never forget it. And it's my dad. He just got me into it, right? So I was like hook, line, and sinker into the Kenny. Love the Kenny.
He was Kenny and Dolly in my place at my house.
Oh yeah,
lots of Dolly.
Well, you remember Jenny Galt?
Yeah.
So Jenny and I did a Kenny Rogers duet, "Don't Fall in Love with a Dreamer."
Okay.
We did that years ago, and I can't remember when I dusted it off, but she moved back to Poland, and I was just going through old MP3s of what I had. I'm like, oh shit, there's this "Don't Fall in Love with a Dreamer" that Jenny and I did. And I just pinged her online. I'm like, should we release this? Sounds great. And she's like, let's do it. So I just put it out there. So it's just, I think it's just Jonny Hetherington and Jenny Galt doing "Fall in Love with a Dreamer." And that was, she came into my house, this house here, and she brought a guitar, and we cracked open a bottle of something, and we just played it 5 times, pressed a chord on a mic. She's such a good player and singer. She played guitar and sang, and I sang. It's just 2 voices, 1 guitar. And it's completely live off the floor in my kitchen take, so beautiful. But I always treasure that moment because it was kind of like, I'm sure I was thinking back to those early records, sitting on my dad's couch with my dad's headphones on, just listening to, Ruby, don't take your love to town. Just like.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I remember that too. Like those are the memories for me. Like sitting in my parents had this hassock that was just full of records, and flip through and pull them out and like read the liner notes, and I'm kind of sad that that's not part of music today.
Yeah, I miss it too, man.
Like for the majority of people, that's not music.
Totally. And you see the stats all the time. Record sales are on the rise, like vinyl sales still
Yeah.
coming up, coming up. So people are still enjoying that in some ways, but I agree, man. Like for you and me, I'm sure our stories are very similar where you go get that cassette and just rip open that,
Totally.
sleeve and be like, who the fuck are they thanking on this
Reading
thing? Oh my
along the
God.
whole time, the first spin through, like reading every single lyric with the singer, like
And like, why
where
did they
was
choose this photo to go behind this song? And
totally
why
like
is this
that's cool
weird
that
image
that's
over here
there, and
behind this
yeah,
song?
like dude, man,
And you
I'm
read
the
every
same.
lyric. Yeah. Oh, the thank yous, man. Like we as a band, we used to spend almost as much time making the record as we did making the thank you list. We were like,
Right,
you know, make sure to thank Todd Hancock and
right.
Danger down at CFOX for spinning song. Okay, thank our parents. Like we would organize okay, you do your thank yous. I'll do my thank yous. Everyone does their thank yous. And then what we get, if there's any overlap, we go back and edit to make sure we're not thanking the same people more than twice. Then the band has to thank certain people as well, not just people. So you
Right.
thank your mom and dad, but I'm not going to thank your mom and dad because I'm thanking my mom and dad. It's like, and you try and get all that onto one CD page. You're
Yeah.
like struggling, like, okay, we got to delete like 3 thank yous, man. Who's not making the cut? We'd worked on this for months, and now, honestly, I haven't even thought about it.
Just release the song. That's what the fans want, right? Like
Our last actual record, because when we did the Rise Up record, the label we were with didn't actually release a hard copy, so we never did the thank yous on that record. I don't recall anyway. We probably maybe did for the artwork, but it never got released. So the last thank yous we did were with Warner Brothers on our big record. We're like probably thinking the same thing, but those early records, man, it was like gotta thank everybody. Like that come to our show when no one was there. That was always in the front. The guy who bought us that jug of beer that time in Kelowna when we were, like, you gotta thank everyone.
yeah.
But that was part of the magic of the liner notes. And actually, I'm working on some liner notes right now because a dude, I'm not sure if I ever told you this story, but a dude, an artist that I met, him and I have been working on this collaborative art project for a couple of years now. Long story short, he is a brilliant poet, Italian, writes in Latin, and makes sculptures to kind of go with his poetry. He asked me to come and write some music and songs to to be inspired by the statues and poetry.
Cool.
So I flew to New York, went to his place, crashed at his house. We rented a piano, sat there for 5 days, just talking about the ideas of the poems and the ideas of the emotions behind them. And then I busted out the piano and wrote 12 minutes of music to go with each poem. And we were releasing a record on vinyl. Wow. So it's gonna be it's hopefully when we release, he's gonna debut the art at a gallery in New York. I'm gonna hopefully fly out and actually perform it on opening night at the gallery. And then the records will be there for people that want to take the experience with them, and whoever wants to, just, if you appreciate the art, you appreciate the music, it's just this big, cool thing. But it's so cool, man. And I'm singing in Latin, right? And I don't know Latin, so I'm really just phonetically figured out these songs. And the coolest part of it is, the woman that I felt that a woman's voice was needed on it for sure, because it's not to give too much of it away, but the poems are about the 4 times of day. So, dawn, dusk, day, and night. And it's kind of these, so almost like a Four Seasons approach to the one singular day.
Mm.
And I felt like just me singing was kind of too masculine. So this woman who used to do our demos for our sauce company happens to be an opera singer. And I was like, hey, do
Great.
you want to come sing some female vocals on this kind of moderny, weird art Latin thing?
Mm.
And she said, yeah, absolutely. So she came out and sang on it, and it was perfect. It was great. And she's also now my daughter's opera teacher
Mm.
that we were talking about earlier. And when I worked on this originally, Jake, my daughter, was too young to appreciate any of this. Now she's 7, almost 8, and she can appreciate all of it. So I'm thinking that when I go perform in New York, I'm going to take Jake to sing the operatic parts with me. So it might be like a father-daughter
Wow.
opening in an art gallery. That'd be pretty rad, right?
That is insane, man. That's great. Wow.
So we'll see. I mean, all this stuff's just stuff that's cooking in the hopper, but it's, it's exciting to kind of see that come to fruition. We started working on that pre-pandemic. So it's been
wow.
like,
It's been a while.
Yeah, I was in New York working on that in, I guess, the year before the pandemic. So it was like, how long ago was that? 4 or 5 years? I don't even know.
What an insane couple of years, man. Like, just to look back now, like 2 years plus just wasted pretty much.
Totally.
Honestly, I hate to think about it, man. I hate to think about it. Like, I almost stopped my podcast because of COVID. Just lost so many. Oh man, I lost so many sponsors. For the amount of time that I spend doing this podcast and marketing it, and like, finding guests and finding sponsors and all that, like, I need to make money or it's like pointless. I'm not like just gonna, as much as I like doing it, I don't like doing it that much. You know what I mean? Like, I sometimes miss my kids' hockey practices, or you know what I mean? Or
did you see my comment the other day when you posted your live stream?
no, I didn't see it. What did you say?
Yeah, it was basically this. Like you were talking, like you were having a heart to heart with us, just talking about shit. I lost a client today, and I'm like, I lost a sponsor today.
Yeah.
I'm bummed. And I was like, dude, this is like golden podcast. Like it really hit me. Because you were being so real with me and everyone else who's watching it. And I was just like, that's really Todd right there. That he is bearing his soul, and this is cool. Like, so I thought that was really just important that you were.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, this podcast is not about money, but if I'm going to spend that amount of time making something, there has to be something on the other end. Has to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As anyone would expect in any facet of life, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was a time when I didn't have my job at BCIT, and this podcast was about money, and that, and that for somebody that's supposed to be a creative, it shouldn't be about money. It should be because you like doing it, first off. And if you make money as a spin-off, fucking rights, that's great. Like, that's kind of where I'm at with this thing now. Thankfully, I have a job at BCIT, and it's a pretty good job and pretty good pay, and it's rewarding in itself, right? But like, it's not rewarding in this way. It's rewarding in a different way. Like, you're helping other people do better and get better at their craft and all that. That's very rewarding. But like, it's not rewarding like this is.
Just talking to a female singer friend of mine the other day, and she was going through a rough time, and we were chatting, and she was just saying, I have to do this. Like, this is my calling. There's such a difference between what you do and what your calling is. And the significant other in her life couldn't understand that under no circumstances, or under any circumstances, she's not doing this anymore. It's like, and from a 10,000 feet, from someone else's opinion, be like, why would you, touring as semi unsuccessful musician is not really rewarding. It's definitely not going to make you any money, and it's hard and it's a grind, and you know, it's rough. So why do you keep putting yourself through that? And she's like, it's my calling. I have to do it. If I don't do it at least once or twice a year, I don't feel human anymore. So, that's kind of the difference between a teaching gig and something you're super passionate about that you kind of feel driven to do no matter what.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm even starting to feel like the pull to go back to radio too. Like I've been feeling the last couple, 2-3 years, like maybe I should go back and just fucking crush again. Like, I don't know.
Dude, that would be music to my ears. You know that.
Yeah, I think the city would like it if I were like when jobs come open, a lot of industry people are like, hey, you should probably apply for the afternoons at Rock 101. You should probably apply at Peak to do their morning show. It's like, I've got this podcast and I'm teaching at BCIT. I get summers off. My life is so much different than when it was in radio. Like, like something about being able to spend time with your family. You can't put a price on that shit, right? And as you get older, you start to realize that more and more. Like, I'm turning 50 this year, bro. 50, man. Like,
golden.
It's crazy.
Maybe
TikTok.
Maybe man. You and Danger should just like buckle down and just start a new station.
Danger, start a new station would be dude. I would. I never ever thought of the programming side of radio too much. I mean, I did, but like never really thought of it in that regard when I was on air, because I was always like, I just want to be the person that's on air. Like I want to be the guy talking between the songs and like hanging out backstage drinking fucking Dave Grohl's beer. Like that's what I want to do. I just want to hang out and be part of the scene and help bands.
We can get Rob Robson on board.
Rob Robson would be great. Bob Mills, get the voice back.
Come out of the woodwork. And
it's just so expensive, man. First off, if you can get it past the CRTC in the first place to get the license and everything, man, like, it's expensive, man, to start a station. It's no small feat.
What is that all about? Like, is that some antiquated shit or what? Like, hey,
dude, like, do you even need to go on? Do you even need to be on FM though? Like, you could really start a good online station and turn the needle with that, man.
Absolutely.
I think
it'd be fun to do both though, just for the generations that still like. I mean, I listen to Sirius XM because again, the hockey. Like, I'm just channel 91. Like, what's going on in the hockey trades today? Mm-hmm. I just jump on there. But the odd time now, like, I honestly don't listen to Vancouver radio anymore. Mm. I haven't been given a reason to. When that news station came into town recently, Sonic. Yeah, I was kind of intrigued because it got some press about playing. They played Rage for like 48 hours straight or something.
Yeah, but I mean, like, yeah, that's stunting, of course, right? But if like for me,
it got my attention though. I was like, oh, is Todd starting a station?
the problem that I have with that is like the song that they picked, they couldn't even play the unedited version. Like, if you want to make a statement, play "fuck you." I'm not going to do what you tell me. Don't play the edited version. You know what I mean? Like, that was the one thing.
You won't do what you told me.
But great.
You won't do what you told me.
But a great way to launch a radio station, and then it's like,
yeah. And then they lost me right away. It was like,
exactly. It's like, what else? Like, what else are you gonna do, right? Like, it's got to be more than just the music. Otherwise, I'll just play shit that I want on my end. I think.
Well, so, I mean, anyone who's listening from Vancouver, which I'm sure a lot of your listeners are, right? Maybe not most now, but a lot.
I think probably 70%.
So maybe. Okay, 70%. So maybe some people remember Coast 1040. And that was, when I moved out here, it was like I moved out in '94, and that was the year Coast 1040 went away, and I was like, I missed it. I was like, everyone was talking Coast 1040, the closing party, like this is the best radio station on the planet.
Right.
I'm like, why? You know, and why? Because they play anything they want. They play all these B sides and they play all this shit. Like they don't care. That they're great. I was like, oh shit, I got here like a year too late.
Yeah.
And then CFOX kind of carried, I think, some of that.
Yep.
CFOX is corporate radio station, but I mean, when I was dropping off my demos at CFOX, it was on, Richard Street in the basement.
Yep.
And it was,
that was also
knock on the door.
They were owned by Shaw and not Chorus at that point.
Right. Yeah. And it was like, knock on the door, someone comes to the door. It might even be the DJ answering the door, and you're like, hey, I got a demo tape for you guys. What's going on? Oh, come on in.
Yeah.
Have a beer. There's some beers in the fridge. Let's just, who are you guys? Oh, we're a local band, Right. It was cool. That was, I mean, I don't know does that even exist anymore? Where a local band
no, man,
can walk into a radio station with a demo tape and have a beer with a DJ?
Nope.
Probably not.
No, I mean, I may have been one of the last guys blazing those guns in Vancouver. Like, I would bring bands in that we didn't play and play them on the air. And my mind was like, well, it's my show, first off. Like, I'm not going to do something that I think is not going to get people wanting to listen. Like, I live and die by the ratings on that station. So, like, if I think it's good enough for my show, it should be good enough for the station. Like, you're paying me a lot of money to be that person, to be the person that is the guy that interviews everybody, that MCs everything. So why couldn't I just play whatever the fuck I wanted to play then? And I did to some degree, but I always took heat for it, right? It's like, man, I'm not gonna do something to kill my show. Like, I need to get the ratings, so I'm playing this because it's a great song, or they've got a great story, or they're playing in town. They're from New York, but they're here. We don't play them, but we should. Like, that sort of shit. And like, I just did it.
When the bands came to town, you had them in the studio, and you had your drum kit there.
Totally, man.
It was awesome. It was like, you felt like, oh, and then, if we brought a case of beer in there, it was great. It was like perfect.
Oh yeah, case of beer and some tequila.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that exists anymore. Like, where you can roll into a radio station with 24 beer and play a couple songs on the air, and people are going to listen. Ratings are going to go up because you're supporting. Oh, and by the way, they're at the Commodore tonight. Maybe you should get down there.
Honestly, I don't know, man. And that's the problem. That's a problem, though, right? Like, radio needs to still do that. The radio needs to move in just so few ways, and it would make radio cool again, right? And it's like, it's still that stuff, right? The playing of like, here's Daniel Wesley. Like, everybody, when I first started playing, they were like, who the hell is this? Why are you guys not playing it all the time? Why do I only hear it on your show and it's only like once or twice a week?
What a story that was, eh?
And it's because, like, yeah, because I'm going to get in shit for playing it. That's why.
He was so great. Is he still doing it?
They still banging some shit off, yeah. Yeah.
So good.
But the other things are very, very basic, right? You just mentioned album cuts a few minutes back. Play album cuts. Like, not on every album, but those albums that sold 10, 12, 15, 5, 10, 20 million albums. Like, don't play just Enter Sandman and Unforgiven. I was just
thinking it. You took the words out of my mouth. Like,
right?
We all know Enter Sandman, and we love it. But you might want to hit.
We get it. But Of Wolf and Man is fucking rad. Through the Never is amazing. And it's for all those records, right? Blood Sugar Sex Magic, Nevermind, all those albums, all the GNR's Appetite. Like, GNR Appetite, really? You only play like Sweet Child of Mine and Welcome to the Jungle. That's it? Really? Okay.
Yeah. Can't play Night Train.
No. You can if you want to get in shit for it.
Yeah.
But letting out all the trade secrets in radio, where all the program directors are like, fuck that Hancock guy, man. He's just trashing us on this podcast. Like, I'm not trashing. I'm just trying to say, like, play some B-sides, surprise your audience. The other thing is, like, play local bands present their shows. Suddenly you've got this big cycle of like, holy crap, I heard your band on CFOX today. Holy crap, I'm going to your show that's being hosted, sponsored by CFOX. And it's this big thing of everybody's talking about your radio station for free.
Dude, I did 3 interviews this week in the United States, and people are asking about the origins of the band. And I can't leave out how integral CFOX Seeds program was to my band becoming successful, because we're a local Vancouver band, you know, playing our hearts out in the local shit clubs, and we would enter Seeds. You know the story. Like, we entered Seeds as Sun Like Star in the late 90s, and we were one of the winners. So that propelled us into this new, like, now we're with this wave of bands that are doing something a little different. Who was that band? Corey Cho, the Showcore. Remember Showcore?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it was that year where I was like, Showcore and Sun Like
2003,
Star.
2004, something like that, somewhere around there.
Yeah, and it was kind of like this. We felt so fortunate to be part of the Seeds winning program. We were just like, wow, this is amazing, right? Mm-hmm. And then we ended up changing the band name as our style changed, and re-entered Seeds in 2000 and whatever it was, and won again as Art of Dying. And that really, like, I mean, when I was writing up our accolades to send around to people, like, yeah, Seeds winners, Art of Dying, you know, like, local radio station supports us. And these are the things that led to, like, the Dan Donegans and of Disturbed going, local radio station likes them. I should probably listen to their demo, you know, and check it out. And of those 3 interviews I did this week in the States, I talked about CFOX in 2000s, and I talked about CFOX Seeds program. And I have to tell you, a tiny bit of me, while I was talking about it inside, was kind of like crying a bit about, that's kind of gone, isn't it? Like, does that exist anymore?
CFOX Seeds does not exist. Not since I got let go. In fact, that year, dropped that. They dropped the Indie Night in Canada show. So mandatory Metallica, the mandatory Marley that I'd implemented on that station on both evening and the afternoon show, like pretty much everything that I had like a touch in, it felt like they were like,
right. And I mean, I don't know if we would have had the same story without that program, you know, like it, and that's why I still bring it up on these interviews. It's like, yeah, we're part of this thing. You've never heard of it. It's called CFOX Seeds, and it was like a thing in our local radio station. And it really helped us, you know, really helped us climb a couple rungs and like figure out who we were, and start to think about going down to Seattle and playing some shows. And it's sad that it doesn't exist. So
it's weird. It's like,
I miss it. I wish it still existed.
Yeah, same.
I mean, that brought us, you know, Nickelback, that brought us Biff Naked, that brought us Matthew Good, that brought us like all these amazing Vancouver-based artists.
Yeah.
And what's going on now? I don't even know. I'm a little frustrated that it doesn't exist.
Well, I mean, if you want to know about Vancouver bands, upcoming bands, this is the podcast, man. I just play local bands, right? Like most of the time it's rock, but I'll play, like, you know, if buddies are playing shows that are country or soul or hip hop or, you know, certainly metal, of course, like I'll play whatever. I'm just trying to support the scene like I always have, right? Like,
totally.
But yeah, it's amazing, man. It's amazing that where radio is and where it needs to be, and thankfully that's one of the reasons why I'm still working at BCIT in that radio arts program is because I want to be able to influence change, right? Like I can change stuff from the inside one at a time. If I go back to radio, I'll change the station I go to. I'll make it a better station. I know I will. But if I have a chance to influence 40 kids every September, 40 new ones, it's 2 years. So it's like 80 students, year one, year two. Like, yeah, I'll be able to influence and hopefully inspire enough to get people to make the change that needs to happen.
Totally. Well, thank you for doing it, man. Because I mean, there's only a few soldiers left and some pioneers, and that can go out and change things, and you're doing it. And thank you.
Well, I'm doing it from this way, baby. This is where I'm at right now. Like I'll probably go back to radio eventually, but I don't know if it's going to be anytime soon, unless there's a really good gig. What that means is I'm not really super sure, but decent money.
I'll be listening.
Some time off would be nice, but yeah. Jonny, so let's put a little bow on this tonight here. New Art of Dying is coming out when? Did we nail that date down? I know that you were like, it's coming out soon. Do you have a date?
March 10th. March 10th.
March 10th. Oh, so
let's go.
It's like TikTok. Let's go.
TikTok, baby. If that's still legal.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, no, it comes out March 10th. So be listening for Let's Go. And it's going to be my personal theme song for the Oilers' deep run here in the Stanley Cup.
You're sending it to them for that, obviously, right?
I haven't, but I really need to.
I think you should. Maybe it's like a daily thing on Twitter to send them the song. It'd be cool to at Oilers played this. It'd be cool if anyway. When's an Art of Dying tour?
Great question, man. No plans right now. So we'll wait till the boys get back from the current Saint Asonia tour, and then we'll sort it out. But it's not. I don't know if it's imminent, man. Like I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but we're really comfy right now, just recording and releasing music, and it's really gratifying and it feels good. I think we can keep this one song every 8 to 12 weeks. I think we can keep it going for quite some time because we just keep getting creative and recording stuff and want it to be out. So I don't see that ending anytime soon. We'll probably take a break. Maybe once we hit like just a brick wall on writing, we'll start planning for a tour. It's probably what we'll do.
Yep. All right, Jonny Hetherington, you're a good man, buddy. Good to see you.
You too, man. Take care, son.